set them free, and I was in jail.
Senator Cañada told me, alam mo, Cory, dahil ayaw mag-participate ni Ninoy, he can be sentenced right then and there, and there's nothing we can do, because if he does not want to participate, then that means he's not going to object to whatever.
I went on a hunger strike as a protest to what they did to me in the military commission. But more than a symbolic protest, I must admit I had a death wish. I wanted to die.
He was saying, you know, if I go, then my suffering will end, and that is my prayer. But if I don't go, then that means Jesus wants me to do something more. And I said, well, think of it that way, because I really didn't want him to have a death wish. So this is what happened for 40 days and 40 nights. I know what it is to go on hunger strike. On the 10th day, my friend, your stomach will actually be only a handful. I know what it means. The hunger pains that you go on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th day. I know the cramps in the stomach. I know when your hands start trembling and you feel cold because the fat in your body is wasting away. On his 30th day, Cardinal St. Cain administered the last sacrament to Ninoy. It was a very moving thing, and at a certain point, Ninoy's tears were just flowing, and it was, later on I asked Ninoy how he felt, and he said, he really felt so good. He felt that he had made peace with the Lord and that he was prepared to go. And I said, no, don't think of it that way. And so I went on until I lost about 40 pounds. From 163, I dropped to about 127. And then I was rushed to the hospital. My mother cried, and my wife, naturally, and my children, but I was determined. I felt that I've served a full life, and it was time to go. But somehow, on the 40th day, I was struck by that letter of Father de la Costa to me. And he said, do you think by trying to die you are being courageous? He said, you're not being courageous, you're a coward. It is more courageous to go on living. You're opting out. You're escaping. And it's an act of cowardice. To continue living and to continue fighting. He said, it's more courageous. And ultimately he said, if you believe in the divine will, do not interfere with his will. Let his will be done. When I arrived in Taipei, I switched to my Marshal Bonifacio passport. Alam naman ninyo, Marshal was for martial law, at saka yung Bonifacio para sa Fort Bonifacio kung saan ako nakulong. Except for the Taiwan visa and the fake Manila departure stamp, all the passport pages were clean. Kinwestiyon ako. I told him, walang direct flight to Taipei, kaya duman pa ako sa Hong Kong. I must have convinced him enough for him to let me go.
Now, if he says that he wants to come back here, sure, by all means, he can come back. But for what? He has to face up to the facts of life.
I will go back because I think I'm innocent. And if Mr. Marcos would like to shoot me on that basis, so be it.
Benigno S. Aquino Jr. This commission sentences each one of you to suffer the penalty of death by firing squad.
You can end a man, you can imprison his body, but you cannot imprison his soul. And as long as man will refuse to be defeated, you are never defeated. And so Mr. Marcos can imprison my body, but my spirit shall soar.
He was going to continue arguing against the dictatorship, and that he hoped that he would be able to influence others, especially the people, to do the same thing. That's why I think he ran for the Batasan in 1978, even if the odds were against him. He wanted to have the opportunity to again talk before the people. Unfortunately, He was only given one television interview in 1978 on Face the Nation.
All I ask Mr. Marcos is, send me before an impartial tribunal, not a military officer.
By making a statement such as that, you're really questioning the integrity of all these men.
No, it is the circumstance, Ronnie. Kamukha mo, empleyado ka ng NNPC, maataking pa si Marcos? Ba, hindi pwede.
No.
Ay, na nga eh.
I will not attack the president. I have no quarrel with
Ba,
him.
na nga eh.
It was one of his most memorable interviews, and I understand that at that time most Filipinos were just glued to their television sets, and the streets were rather empty because people were watching, on television. So I told him that, and many others told him that. So if only for that one television interview, he felt he had already decided right in running for the Batasan.
I heard none of the noise barrage from my cell in Fort Bonifacio. But Cory told me it spread like wildfire in Metro Manila. Sa wakas, nagpakita na ng galit ang mga Pinoy. Ang galing talaga ng mga taga-UP. Sabi nila, your votes may not be counted, but your noise will be heard. Natakot tuloy si Marcos, so he had to make sure KBL would win by a landslide. Part of the plan was to gather members of the foreign press to join me in this last leg of my journey. They would serve as a foil, para na ring bodyguards. And their presence might just deter any evil plot. At kung may mangyaring masama sa akin, they would let the whole world know.
You have to be very ready with your hand camera because this action can become very fast. Yes. In a matter of 3-4 minutes, it could be all over, And I may not be able to talk to you again after this. Now, I am taking some precaution. I have my bulletproof vest, hoping that would be some kind of a protection. But if they hit me in the head, there's nothing we can do there. I can only be protected from here to here. You see, this is the latest bulletproof vest that I will be wearing. This Kevlar on top here to protect this, and then a back part on this side. But as I said, this is only good for the body, but in the head, there's nothing else we can do. So I